Millions of people end their day the exact same way, bathed in the glow of a digital screen, working a rotating shift, or grabbing a midnight snack long after the sun has gone down. We expect these habits to cause morning fatigue or a foggy mood, but they are triggering a physical crisis inside the stomach, a condition widely known as leaky gut syndrome. For years, leaky gut was dismissed as internet folklore. Today, clinical research has established it as a rigorous reality, properly termed intestinal permeability. Microbiologists have now definitively linked this permeability to the progression of autoimmune diseases, type 1 diabetes, and inflammatory bowel disease. The microscopic barrier protecting our bloodstream from the outside world is failing, and our modern environment is the trigger. So how exactly does a person develop a leaky gut? Gut integrity is often discussed as a matter of nutrition, assuming that processed foods and sugar are the sole drivers of barrier decay. While diet matters, the intestinal wall is primarily governed by a strict biological clock and precise temporal rhythms. Breaking the body's internal clock is the primary mechanism for breaking the physical gut barrier. Down in the gut ecosystem, up to 60% of all bacteria exhibit a 24-hour diurnal rhythm. These microbes migrate, metabolize, and reproduce in sync with host feeding times. But when the host stays up late, the synchrony collapses into biological jet lag. Beneficial populations plummet, while dysbiotic bacteria thrive, consuming the protective mucus layer shielding the intestinal lining. This shift in timing triggers a rapid ecological collapse inside the digestive tract. Beneath that eroding mucus sits the intestinal wall, a fragile barrier only a single layer of cells thick. Sealing the microscopic gaps between these cells are tight junction proteins, specifically ZO1 and occlutin, which act as the mortar of the barrier. These proteins are actively synthesized by peripheral clock genes BMAL1 and clock. Disrupted sleep downregulates these master genes, halting production. Without them firing, the body fails to replace tight junction proteins as they degrade, leaving the wall structurally compromised. Our daily light and sleep cycles directly control the DNA responsible for holding our intestines together. This creates a double failure. Dysbiotic bacteria are destroying the outer mucus layer, while dormant clock genes fail to seal the inner cellular wall. The result is a physical breach. The moment the gut becomes undeniably leaky, allowing toxic bacterial byproducts known as LPS to escape the digestive tract. These jagged LPS toxins are now violently flooding out of the gut, escaping the local tissue and crossing directly into the systemic circulation. A localized failure of gut timing has escalated into a systemic biological contamination event. Once LPS enters the bloodstream, the immune system treats it as a massive threat, triggering a state of chronic, low-grade systemic inflammation known as endotoxemia. Crucially, the human immune system is most vulnerable and reactive to these endotoxins at night. This nighttime vulnerability perfectly overlaps with the exact window when circadian disruption causes peak gut permeability. This specific inflammatory cascade drives a continuum of modern chronic diseases, from multiple sclerosis and rheumatoid arthritis to obesity and depression. Staring at a screen at 2 a.m. acts as a physical driver of chronic disease by forcing open the gut barrier. Standard wellness advice suggests that treating a leaky gut is purely about adding fiber or probiotics to your diet. But adding healthy food to a dysynchronized gut is insufficient if the cellular mortar isn't being built. Maintaining the boundary between ourselves and the outside world requires respecting the microbial schedule through strict light hygiene and sleep routines. Gut health is a temporal problem. To heal the gut, we must first heal the biological clock.